Good morning, everyone, and welcome to not my shop. We're actually outside my shop, just to the east of it. And today I bought a building. No, I didn't buy John Ross's building that he just sold. My building is much smaller, and it came in a box. Also, there's boats. But before we get started, I do think I am obligated to tell you that this video is not sponsored. Gardesol just sent me this. Weirdly, they sent me this right after a friend of mine got something similar, and I went, I could use one of those, actually. And then there was an email in my inbox like 2 days later asking if I wanted this one. I can only assume Jeff Bezos has my house bugged. Actually, I know that he does. I have 3 Amazon Alexas, so... Gardesol was nice enough to send me this building. So today we're going to put it up, and I've already done a bunch of landscaping. Well, my dad did a bunch of landscaping. We leveled this out, got rid of a bunch of stuff. Actually, here's a picture of what it looked like about a year ago, and you can see what it looks like now. So what's left to do is put down weed mat and stake it down, and put down chat, and then build the building on top of it. But I am too lazy to measure things, so I'm going to build the building so I know how much weed mat I need to put down. And I'm just going to put it under the building. We'll see how that goes. This is a heavy box. Let's see what's inside the big heavy box. That's what's in the box. A bunch of pipes and things. This actually looks pretty straightforward, and I never mentioned why I actually wanted this. Really, it's just I need more covered car storage, and also I want a paint booth. I want to learn how to paint some stuff, starting with my Ducati. It might look okay in pictures and stuff, and the yellow is really cool, but I really want a blue bike. I think the yellow clashes with the gold accents that bike has, and the fairings aren't original. It was not a full fairing bike originally. It's an SSCR, and the paint is garbage. It's been repainted with like rattle cans. So I want a paint booth so I can repaint it and other things. There's a lot of stuff here I want to paint. The Ranger, for example. So I assume, let's see here. Looks like we get started with, we build the tall part, put the canvas on, and then we erect it. So A, D, B, E, A, B, E, A, D, B. Yeah, just do that. There's 3 kinds of component here, so it really couldn't get any simpler. The affiliate link below, but wait till the end to hear my honest thoughts on this thing. Like I said, this video isn't sponsored. I am required by law, I believe, to disclose people who are giving me money, unlike U.S. elected officials. But they're not giving me money, they just gave me a building. It's different. So the roof is pretty much laid out. I love how the angles on this are all the same. So you really it just is composed of these 3-piece joiners and these 4 connection joiners, and they're all the same. I guess it'd be a 45-degree angle. I don't know. So it's going to be a triangle roof. I'm going to start assembling from the back to the front, since obviously I have this pretty hard backstop here. It's as far back as I can go, and I would like for the feet to sit right about here so that it drains off the roof into this little ditch that we dug that goes back into God knows what's back there. So I'm going to start assembling here and work my way forward. And then I guess you kind of stand it up and start putting legs on one side, and then stand it up the rest of the way and put the legs on the other. These pipes are quite nice. They're really lightweight. Hopefully that means they're durable. Wall thickness, decent, not amazing. I mean, these aren't really gonna be holding anything substantial, just some canvas. The canvas does weigh a bit though. It's definitely the heaviest part of all this. So yeah, let's get started constructinating. Well, I'd say she's coming together. This thing's actually a pretty decent size, and I got a nice amount of set back. We just kind of did some eyeball measurements, you know, with our feet. I guess they'd be feet ball measurements. Balls of your feet? Measuring with your balls? I don't know. And I wanted it set back a little bit so I'd have the ability to, you know, snake cars back in here. But man, even seeing the space cleared out, this thing's pretty large, and it went together pretty easily. You know, the instructions don't really, well, actually I didn't really look at them. Did they give like an order? Yeah, not really. They don't really give an order for how to put them together, and I didn't really find anything that worked better than anything else. I kind of put the sides together first and then did the middle bits. It is time for the canopy. I'm not looking forward to this part. It may be easier to attach the end panels at this point. See, they're not even entirely sure. I will say though, the instructions are in very good English. So I guess we start putting one side on, and then we start to put the canopy on. So which side do I want to do first? Part of my goal here was to see if this was assemblable by just one person, and it turns out it's quite doable. I got the side posts up, stood it up, and then I just started I unrolled the top and then sort of slid it over. It has these bits with hooks that go into here, so I hooked those in and then just started working it over the whole thing. It was actually quite easy. I'm only sweating and out of breath a little bit. Oh, yeah, no, my camera's overheating. Thank you, Sony, for not making something that works in 90 degrees. Let's see here. So now we put the other posts in. I'm not gonna... boy, that is getting hot. So I guess we'll just cut to when that's done. Roof is on, tied down. Feet are on and bolted on. Now it's time for the front, and I had to go get a ladder because... well, it's rather tall, and the front goes on with these guys. You just loop them through and around, I guess. Oh, yeah. A series of holes and around the pole, which seems relatively straightforward. Well, it is definitely starting to look like something. You can see how the roof attaches there. Looks like the side panels attach the same way. Oh, I see. This goes through here and the side panel, so it attaches the roof more solidly to this and this to that. And it looks like there's also some Velcro pieces here, and then there's Velcro all up and down this as well, which is kind of hidden from the elements by this corner piece. So yeah, that all works out pretty well. As far as sturdiness goes, I'm thinking that once everything's under tension, it'll be a little better. There's also some pretty substantial stakes. The stakes are high, one would say. These screw-in guys for each of the corners, and those should help tighten everything up. So I guess it is wall time. We're gonna wall today. It's wall. Well, that's looking like something. Unfortunately, I messed up, and I put the front on. These are directional because the Velcro has to mate up, so I need to flip this around. It also just makes more sense. This seam, the way that it works, you would definitely want rain to come down it, because then it's falling off of the lip and not onto a lip. So I'm gonna take this off, flip it around, and we can put that side on. And then we're done with the construction phase, and I can put down my weed mat in this nice shade that I now have. Smart. Okay, we have 3,000 pounds of payload in the truck, 1,000 in the bed, and a ton in the trailer. Let's see how that affects... Yeah, okay, guy. Let's see how that affects the acceleration. It feels like my parking brake is on. Oh, Lord. I don't have a functional speedometer, but it's not quick. Other things I do not have: trans temp gauge, coolant temp gauge. I think we'll be fine. Brakes are dang good though. No trailer brake or nothing, just Ford Ranger. Disc brakes in the front, drums in the back, but it gets her done. Oh my God, my clutch. Okay. All right, we're moving, we're good. Oh, this is not a great on-ramp. This is the slowest anyone has ever been. Sorry, people behind me. I am doing my best. Actually, not that bad. I'm gonna not go for overdrive. I mean, we're going uphill at wide open throttle in fourth, but we're cruising. I really wish I had a tachometer. I have no idea if I'm revving this out far enough or not. We made it! Y'all like my dank leveling kit? Look at that, it's actually squatting a little bit. Yeah, this isn't the size that I wanted. I didn't realize that they sold me 3/8. I said, I don't know what the sizes are, so I said the larger size to the guy at checkout, because that's how it had been described to me 2 days ago. And I guess he thought this was the larger size. And I didn't notice when they were loading it up, because my dumbass sprained my ankle jumping in the bed to get my wrapping straps out. And you can see the trailer's sitting pretty nice. Interesting thing about this trailer, torsion springs. Not torsion bar suspension. Interesting. Now we need to go get pavers and plastic and some concrete anchors. The plastic is down. I'm really glad that I decided to put this whole thing up before putting the plastic down, because it is sunny and 102 degrees out, and black plastic doesn't match with any of that. This is just drop cloth that I got from Lowe's, and somehow it was the most expensive part of all of this. Don't understand how that works. Gardesol includes these little metal stakes that go through these holes on the feet, but I'm gonna go a little bit beyond that, and I bought some concrete anchors and some drill bit. Yeah, we're gonna use that to hopefully anchor this a little bit better against the characteristically tame Kansas winds that we... And then we have the chat to fill up all of it. But at least it's cool out. This is the meat and potatoes. Bolting this down to concrete. Now, I had some trepidation, because these are non-fuel M12 tools that I have. I bought these for really light-duty stuff, and this is like the absolute extent of what they're capable of. A little concrete bit that came with these, well, not that came with, but was designed for these little adorable 1/4-inch concrete lags. Took me forever to find these in the store. Concrete stuff isn't super common, I guess. Gotta say I'm impressed. like that, through the magic of not recording it, you don't have to watch 3 hours of shoveling chat on the ground and spreading it out. So now that we're done, I kind of have enough experience with this to actually give some impressions on it. The construction method is actually quite good. The way this goes together is almost entirely self-explanatory. The only thing that I really needed the instructions for was I didn't realize that you were supposed to loop these walls through the roof. So other than that, and figuring out which of these joiners go where, this thing went together so insanely easy even for one person that the instructions were almost not necessary. One thing I did wish that they'd mention is that these all the panels are directional. They have an inside and an outside, and as near as I can tell, it's not marked. The outside, the outside of the sides is the flap, which makes sense because you want your rain to fall on the flap and not on the mesh. But the front, I didn't get at first. But this seam here is the tell, because you want the rain to come down that seam instead of on the other side where it could get between the two layers and come inside. That's not super critical, but what's important there is that that affects how the Velcro around the edges goes together, which is pretty important for holding the edges together. Beyond all that, the construction of this in general and the fitment is pretty good, especially for what you pay for this on Amazon. I think at time of publishing it's around $300 or so. My only other real issue with how this goes together is I'm not a huge fan of the stakes to tie this down. With how much surface area this has, any significant amount of wind, those really wouldn't stand a chance. The stakes at the four corners with the screw-in posts, that's a much better solution, which it's supposed to be used in addition, but also just the concrete pavers. They're so cheap, you really might as well. And I have to say I was real impressed with how my non-fuel M12 tools handled drilling and screwing into concrete. That's not what I bought them for, but I guess in a pinch they'll work. I personally haven't decided if I'm going to use the corner stakes or not. I might most likely end up using them, but I'm gonna let it settle for a little while and see how I feel about it later on and see how much I feel like having yet another barrier to mowing around this thing. But chances are I'm gonna use them. Those attach on all four corners right here, and then they just screw into the ground. It is about as simple as falling over, and there's nothing to it. The only thing left to it with this is to put something in it. That's not bad. Well, I've got some process corrections to do. There's a, this was all full of chat originally, it looks like. There's a landscape timber in the ground here to divide it, but now that just acts as something for my truck to hook itself on so I can dig a hole. So I'll need to do that and get sort of things cleared up so my approach angles are a little bit better to get stuff in and out of here. But as you can see, lots and lots of room. Probably some amount of feet in front of it, and I think I backed it up pretty close to the rear here. Yes, that's not bad. Enough room for the tailgate to come down, and then you can open the door on either side. So, pretty good for car storage. Maybe good enough for painting a car, definitely good enough for painting motorcycle parts, which is what I'm really excited to do. So subscribe if you're interested in that, and check out the links in the pinned comment and description below if you're interested in having one of these. One person can put it up pretty easily, and I'm quite a fan of this thing. It went together rather well, especially when you put in the extra effort to have a floor. Imagine that. And of course, thank you to Gardesol for sending this to me. I do appreciate it, and I'm going to get some pretty good use out of this over the coming months. Time for me to clean everything up. Thanks for watching. I had a bit of a change of heart after thinking about it for more than 5 seconds. The little stakes to hold down the poles are useful to keep it from walking laterally, while the big stakes and the ropes keep it from pulling up and out. So there is a purpose there, but I think the stone pavers that I went with serve both purposes at once, and it just looks a little more professional as well.